Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. For this video I wanted to do the latest in my series of monthly favourites videos, this time looking back at the month of June. It was quite a busy month in various ways. There were a few important disability events going on, and there were a couple of theatre trips I did and a few museum visits and some walking tours, and I enjoyed some other stuff on TV and radio as well. So there's various little bits and pieces to mention. I'll link to them in the description below and in the blog post I'm doing that goes alongside this, so you'll be able to see more about all the things that I mention. The first thing I want to do though is just say hello to all my new followers who have been joining me recently on my various platforms, because although I'm not that bothered about the numbers, I'm perfectly happy doing this as long as just a few people are interested and enjoying what I do. But it's still the case that I've passed a few significant milestones recently which have been very pleasing, very flattering. I passed 100 followers on my blog recently, which was fantastic, and I passed 300 subscribers on YouTube, and I've got over 100,000 views for my videos now, which is just, I can't process that number, to be honest. It's just huge for me to have a number that large. So thank you to everybody who subscribes to my blog and my YouTube channel, my Twitter as well. That's got over 450 followers at the moment, and Instagram, which is hovering around the 200 follower mark. Thank you to everyone who subscribes to me, wherever that may be. You're amazing. It spurs me on to do more of this. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So thank you very much for that. But moving on to what else was actually happening in June. The big event for me in June was Aniridia Day. And this took place on the summer solstice, 21st of June. And it's, an awareness day for Aniridia, to inform other people about the condition and bring people around the world with Aniridia together online to get to know each other and to share their experiences and things. So we had an Aniridia site campaign where we invited people to post a photo of a scene and then describe how they see the scene with their Aniridic eyes. Obviously, as everyone's experiences are slightly different, then the answers are slightly different, so it gave us a nice broad spectrum of people's different levels of sight, really. It was very interesting to see people's responses to it. And then the other side of things was the webinars that we did. We did a series of live online presentations during the day. We had researchers and people with Aniridia and stuff like that. It was really, really very interesting, and we have recorded them all, so they are going to be going up on the Aniridia Day YouTube channel at some point soon. I've just finished captioning and publishing all the videos for the Aniridia Network conference we had earlier in the year, so now that's done, I can now focus on editing the webinar videos, so I will get them up in due course, hopefully. So that was a really good day. I spent the day around at the house of James Buller. He's one of the trustees of the Aniridia Network, and I worked with him on some of the communications and social media work for the charity. So I spent the day at his house, kind of keeping Facebook and Twitter up to date, basically informing people what was going on and, encouraging people to post, things like that. So that was really good. It was a busy day, but it was a good one. The day went very well. So thank you if you got involved in that. That was great. And the day before that was Nystagmus Awareness Day. They moved that from November, where it used to be, Wobbly Wednesday, and they've now put it on the 20th of June permanently instead. And quite coincidentally, before Aniridia Day, they didn't realise they had moved it just before Aniridia Day, but ideal for us because a lot of people with Aniridia also have Nystagmus, so it kind of works nicely. Nystagmus can come with other conditions as well, or on its own, but for people with Aniridia, Nystagmus is quite common. I didn't get involved with that day particularly because I was busy doing stuff for Aniridia Day, but I did, promote it on social media and things. And I am doing something big for the Nystagmus Network later in the year. I will tell you more about that in another video, but it's something I would love to have your help with, something I'd love to have your support with. It's a big deal for me, something very new I'm doing, so I will tell you more about that soon. And then the other big campaign was the RNIB's Shades for Sight campaign. And that was on National Sunglasses Day, and it was basically promoting the importance of wearing sunglasses in the sun, because we all think about putting like sun cream on our skin to protect our skin from the sun's harmful rays, but we forget about our eyes, I think, sometimes, and getting good sunglasses with UV protection is very important to protect your eyes as well. So people are encouraged to take sunglasses selfies, basically photos of them wearing sunglasses like I did in my back garden, and just share them to help raise awareness. And there were loads of photos sent in, so I was glad to be among them. And happy birthday to the RNIB, by the way, because they are 150 years old this year, which is fantastic. They've gone through some name changes over the years, and I'm sure the structure of the organisation and the activities they do has changed, but the fact that they've been going and supporting visually impaired people for that long is incredible, and long may it continue. It's great to have organisations like that around, of course. And then on the subject of disability, I saw a very interesting theatre show in June called Libby's Eyes. It was a world premiere, and the run has finished now in the Bunker Theatre where it's being held for a month, but hopefully it will appear elsewhere. It's about a visually impaired girl called Libby, who is played by a visually impaired actor, and the playwright who wrote the play is visually impaired as well. So it's coming from real life experiences. It's based on the playwright's experience of claiming personal independence payments, and in the story Libby gets a reasonable adjustments robot from the government to help her with day-to-day tasks. But the robot is artificially intelligent, and it's learning as it goes, so it evolves in a way that wasn't intended. It has effects on Libby's life and those around her as well, and it's just very interesting to see the consequences of that. It's a very powerful play. It's very interesting to watch. Bit heavy on the language, I must admit. It could have had that toned down a bit and still had the same impact, but otherwise it was very good. And there was audio description integrated with it as well for everybody, sighted or not. There's a lady sitting at the side of the stage doing audio description throughout, and that audio describer becomes a character in their own right as well, and becomes more and more integrated with the whole narrative in a way. So, I'm not going to spoil it by saying more than that, but they do have a significant part to play in the whole thing, especially by the end. So that was a very original way of doing audio description, and it was very, very good. I enjoyed that. So that was a very interesting play. I went to that with my friend Claire. We met at London Bridge Station, and the Bunker Theatre where we saw it is just a short walk down the road. And then we went on from there, just a short walk around the corner, to the Hickster Bankside restaurant, because we could get a 10% discount in there with our theatre tickets. So we went in there and had a lovely meal in there, so I can recommend that. It's not cheap, but it's worth it for a treat. The staff were great with us. The service was efficient, the food was lovely, no reason to complain. And then I saw another play as well in June with my mum. We went to see Peter Pan at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, which I've never been to before, but it's a lovely theatre. We had a touch tour for that. We got to go on stage and look at the set. It's set in a First World War hospital that gets kind of adapted as the characters delve into this imaginary world of Peter Pan and Neverland and stuff, use items from the hospital as props and things and as models. There's some really impressive and fascinating models and props and things, and the way they get Peter Pan and other characters to fly is very well done. So it's great to see behind the scenes of that, and we got audio description during the show as well, all done by Vocalise, who I've done plenty of shows with now. So that was really good, and the play itself is very good. The performers are great, and there's good humour in there, a lot of fun, and there's obviously serious little moments in there as well, and definitely a heart to it, especially being set during the war and everything and the effects that would have. So yeah, it was very good, and we got to sit in the lovely, gorgeous weather to watch it as well. We've been very blessed with the weather in the UK lately. We're in the middle of a long heat wave at the moment. We could do with a little bit of rain really now. We are calling out for that a little bit, but perhaps just overnight, and then let us have the nice weather back during the day. But yeah, we really can't complain. I've posted reviews of both of those plays in my blog. They've both finished their runs now, so they're not currently available. But Libby's Eyes may well appear somewhere else, because it was only a world premiere at this theatre it was at, so hopefully it will appear elsewhere. I think Peter Pan appears at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, quite regularly, perhaps every year. So they're both great plays, well worth looking out for. I also went to a few museums during the month of June as well. With my friend Claire, I went to see the Ocean Liners exhibition at the Victoria and Albert Museum, which was really, really interesting. Getting to see models of big old cruise liners, very detailed models as well, and getting to see, some of the memorabilia from them and the advertising used for them, and the fashions and furniture and things that were used, and photos and video footage as well. And yeah, it was just a nice mixture of things. It was very interesting to look around. There was a large print guide for it, so I was able to use that to read things. So yeah, we spent a nice couple of hours looking around that exhibition. And then on my own, I went to the Natural History Museum and looked around their Volcanoes and Earthquakes exhibition using an audio description tool that I downloaded from their website. And that was really good. That was a really clear and informative guide to the exhibition, taking you all around it and describing lots of the key objects. So that was really, really good. It's a really interesting exhibition. And I also visited the Restless Surface Gallery next door as well, which doesn't have audio description, but it was still interesting to look at. It's kind of connected with the Volcanoes and Earthquakes Gallery. And then I also explored the Mathematics exhibition at the Science Museum. That was very, very good, very interesting. It's not as nerdy as you might think it might be. Even if you don't like mathematics, it's still worth checking out for the history and how technology has evolved over the centuries. So I do recommend checking that out. They've got a large print guide in there which takes you around the exhibition very easily because everything's in numerical order. So you basically go up one side and down the other. You just need the map now and again just to direct you from one number to the next because you have to double back slightly. But yeah, it's very interesting and yeah, definitely recommended. regardless of whether you like maths or not. And then I also went to see the teeth exhibition at the Wellcome collection, which is a big museum full of all sorts of medical things. It's really, really interesting, that place. And they had a large print guide for that as well, so I was able to use that to look around the exhibition. And basically it's about the history of dentistry and caring for people's teeth and things like that. So yeah, it was really, really interesting. Again, it's quite fascinating to see how dentistry has evolved from some quite ghoulish, horrible things they used to do in the early days, just, pull people's teeth out and things, with barbers being surgeons even, you go and get your hair cut and have your teeth out. And up to the more modern age where dentistry is, much more comfortable and much quicker and much safer. So if you think going to the dentist is scary now, it's nothing like it was in the old days, really. So yeah, it's really interesting to see the history of all that kind of thing. And then I've also been on a few walking tours as well. I've been on a couple of group guided tours. The first was a Hidden Horrors of Haunted London tour, which was really, really interesting. I don't believe in ghosts, but it's still fascinating to hear the stories surrounding them and the people who are connected with them, because it's all based on real life experiences. So it is really, really interesting. And we've got to see some really interesting places in the process as well. So I can recommend that. The tour guide's really good, really knowledgeable. He's got a great sense of humour, helps to bring it all to life very nicely. So that's great. And then a more unusual tour I did was the original Loo Tour by London Loo Tours, which is, as the name suggests, a tour around some of the toilets in London, which you may think is quite weird, quite silly, but actually it's really interesting, hearing about the history of sanitation in London, how it's developed over the years and things like that. And there's some very interesting and unusual lavatories in London as well. There's the Jubilee, celebrating like the Queen's Jubilee. You've got like Union Jacks on the seats and things like that. It's actually quite nice in there because they keep it very clean. You've got to pay to go in that one, but it's worth it just once for a look, to be honest. Our guide was really good, really good sense of humour. There was only 3 of us doing the tour. It was a nice compact group on this particular day. Some days they have much more than that, so I just got lucky and picked a day. It was a really small group, so it was very conversational, really good fun. And there is a photo of me holding a big plunger and a model toilet on my head, because that's what you get to be able to pose with at the end. So that's a nice fun little memento. And they do a couple of other tours as well, so I may well do those too, because it's nice to do things that are different and a bit fun and a bit unusual, and it's surprising the things you see and learn when you do things that seem a bit odd like that. And then I also did a self-guided walk using an app on my phone called Pocket Guide London, looking around Chelsea. Basically, there's audio on there telling you where to walk and just guide you around some of the streets of Chelsea, just telling you a bit about it. It's just a really lovely area. It's far too expensive for me to live in, I'm sure, but just to look around areas like that, it's really, really interesting. So yeah, I've had some nice walks around London. That's been great. And then on TV, I've been enjoying various series during June, some of which are finished now. So Humans on Channel 4 has finished its 3rd series. Very good as usual, especially in the second half of the series. I think it really picked the pace up and the tension. It's basically about these very human-like synths that the human race developed to be slaves and assistants for them, basically. And then they develop consciousness, these synths, and they're now demanding their own rights and things like that. So, it's really good. It raises, obviously, very topical issues as well in some ways. It's just a fascinating series to watch. It's very well produced, very well filmed and made and everything. So yeah, Humans is very good. I can recommend that if you haven't seen it before. And hopefully the way they've left it means there'll be a series 4 as well, because there's a very interesting kind of ending to series 3. And then on the comedy side of things, Taskmaster has just finished its 6th season. That was very, very good, very funny as per usual. It's about getting comedians to do lots of fun and silly tasks that Greg Davis then picks apart and analyses. It's just really good fun. There's a lot of good banter on that show, and the challenges and the tasks are very inventive and bring out the best in the comedians, I think. And there's a series 7 already in production to be on the way soon. And another new show on Dave has been John Richardson Ultimate Warrior, where he discusses his worries in life with a couple of his fellow comedians. That's really, really good. There's a lot of good banter in there and some very funny moments. And there's some filmed segments in there by other people that are perhaps a little bit odd. They're not well-known comedians, at least not to me anyway. They're not quite as good, but it's the banter with John and his fellow comedians that you tune in for anyway. So I've enjoyed watching that. That might come back for a second series perhaps. And then on E4, I've also been watching Young Sheldon, which is the spin-off to The Big Bang Theory. That's also just finished its 1st season. And yeah, it's grown on me as the series has gone on, really. It's something I wasn't too sure about perhaps at first. I sort of liked it, but wasn't sure if I continue watching it all the way through. But I did, I stuck with it, and it's been really good. The boy who plays young Sheldon is really good, and you've got the adult Sheldon narrating, so you kind of feel that connection with the main Big Bang Theory show. And indeed, at the very end of the series finale, I'm not going to spoil it, but at the very end of Young Sheldon, the final words that Sheldon says are very, very intriguing in terms of the Big Bang Theory storyline. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was very, very interesting what he said at the end there. And it'll be intriguing to see if and when what he refers to takes place in the Big Bang Theory. So we know something about Sheldon's story that we never knew before, that we haven't yet seen in Big Bang. So that's very, very interesting. But while those series are finished, we've also got some new series coming back as well. So in June, The Last Leg and Mock the Week both returned. So I'm very glad to see both of them back. I was in the audience for both of those shows last year. So yeah, they're both great comedy series, both looking back at the news over the week in their own style, in their own way. So yeah, I'm glad they're back. On the radio, the usual cycle of comedies on Radio 4 continues. So, Just a Minute has now finished its latest series and switched to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. They're both shows that we enjoy listening to. More interestingly, on the radio, Christian O'Connell left Absolute Radio this year and has just started a new breakfast show in Melbourne. So I've been listening to the podcasts for that, and it's taken, obviously a few shows for everybody to find their feet, Christian included, but they seem to be settling into it quite well now. So I'm still listening to podcasts. It's still great to hear Christian O'Connell again on the radio. It's not the same without his partner Richie Firth, but his new partner Jack is also settling into things quite nicely now. I think he's got the hang of Christian's humour and the way the show's going to work. So yeah, I think they are settling in now. But I've also been listening to Christian's replacement in the UK, Dave Berry, as well, because I wasn't familiar with him on his other show on Absolute Radio before. The people he's with I have been familiar with because they've already appeared on The Breakfast Show on Absolute Radio. Matt Dyson, Glenn Moore and Emma Jones, they've already been involved with The Breakfast Show. So there's some familiarity there already. But Dave Berry's new to me, and yeah, he seems all right. He seems to have a good sense of humour and seems to enjoy what he's doing. And in terms of music, I've been gradually working my way through my artists on Amazon Music and discovering things that I wasn't quite aware of, that I didn't have already. So I've bought an album by ABC called The Lexicon of Love 2, because I had the original Lexicon of Love album, but this is kind of a sequel they released and I didn't know about. So I bought that. That's a good album. And then I also discovered an interesting album called 80s Recovered, which is 80s artists covering other people's songs, like Heaven 17 covering Rocket Man. You've got Go West covering Human, Samantha Fox doing Hot Stuff, Kim Wilde doing Love Will Keep Us Together, Clark Datchler doing Mr. Tambourine Man, ABC doing High and Dry, Curiosity Killed the Cat doing Long Train Running, things like that. It's very interesting in that you get like one CD of those covers and then another CD of remixes of those same tracks by the same artists. Very unusual in the sense that it's 80s stars covering songs that aren't theirs, and it just gives them a different sound, and it's very interesting. It's quite good actually, so I can recommend that. I also want to quickly mention some YouTubers as well that I've been enjoying during the month. I want to try and bring them into the videos as well. Fern Lulham is a channel definitely worth checking out. She's a fantastic motivational public speaker. I met her at the Aniridia Network conference and she was very, very good. So she's got a new channel where she's posting videos regularly. Another new YouTuber I recommend is Jake Sawyers. He's started doing some videos as well. He's been part of the BBC Sesh video series that they've been doing, but he's now doing a channel of his own all about his visual impairment. So I can recommend his videos too. And I also want to give a shout out to Sassy at Thinking Out Loud. She's got a great channel and a great blog, and she did a video about alt text, adding descriptions to images, which is a really important topic, and she does other great posts and things as well. So go and check out Thinking Out Loud, check out Sassy. I've also been enjoying Tom Scott's new quiz show Lateral on his channel. That's very, very good. It's quite hard, some of the questions, but it's fascinating to watch. It was really, really good. It really gets you thinking. So I recommend, if you like a good quiz show, I recommend Lateral on Tom Scott's channel. And that's it, really. That's all the things I wanted to mention. Just a very quick trawl through things. Like I say, all the links are in the description and in my blog post to go with this. I've been doing some very interesting things in July as well. So July favourites is going to be a very good video. August, I've got a few bits and pieces planned for. September, I've got a couple of very big things planned, one of which I'll be doing a video about very soon. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that interesting. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you for another video very, very soon. Bye.